Hey, what's going on, Guardians? My name is the Black Link, and over the course of the next few days, we are going to be getting our first real official in-depth look at the new Stasis subclasses set to be released alongside Destiny 2 Beyond Light later this year. Last week we got an awesome new trailer showing off a quick look at what these subclasses are going to be. For Hunters, it is the Revenant subclass, Titans will be called Behemoths, and Warlocks will be called Shadebinders. And over the next few days, Bungie's going to be doing what they're calling Stasis Spotlights, where we get an in-depth look at each of those individual classes, starting with the Warlock Shadebinder. Bungie put up this article earlier today giving us a great in-depth look at what this class is going to be bringing to us when Beyond Light goes live on November 10th. And in this video, we're going to be covering everything we've learned from it. First things first, we got this great infographic for the Warlock Shadebinder, Fracture with Frost. They're described as keen masters of destruction, launching projectiles, freezing as many enemies as possible, and shattering them all in one fell swoop. The Shadebinder ensures no foe is left standing. The super for this class is going to be called Winter's Wrath. Shadebinders harness the power of darkness to summon a stasis staff. And Bungie goes on to give us some further details about this. They state that no class embodies the concept of freezing better than the Warlock Shadebinder. Imbued by stasis energy, the Shadebinder can summon a stasis staff that fires projectiles which can freeze opponents, immediately rendering them immobile. The Shadebinder's Penumbral Blast melee attack is a quick burst of stasis energy that erupts from the staff and instantly freezes anyone it hits. From there, the Warlock can either deal with the frozen foes or leave them be and move on to other, more immediate threats. But if you're looking to combine freezing with destruction, look no further than the Shadebinder's super, Winter's Wrath. Here, the Shadebinder summons their stasis staff and fires projectiles that instantly freeze opponents. The second stage begins and the fight ends when the Guardian raises the staff, detonates its stasis crystal, and sends a devastating shatter shockwave that disintegrates nearby frozen opponents. And that's some of the bits that we've been able to see from some of the previous B-roll and trailer footage showing off the Warlock Shadebinder class. So it looks like with Winter's Wrath, you're going to basically be getting a two-part attack where you freeze everything and then you detonate everything. But that's not the only information we got today. Bungie didn't just focus on the super and abilities of the Shadebinder. We're also going to be getting some additional enhanced customization options when Beyond Light goes live. And this is going to come in the form of stasis aspects and stasis fragments. Here's how it breaks down. If you've played Destiny for long enough, you know that choosing the right subclass for each situation can be crucial to the outcome of a fight. Titans have their bubbles, Warlocks have their wells, skilled Guardians know how important those abilities can be in a pinch. With Beyond Light and Stasis, we're giving you even more flexibility to customize your subclass to your style of play. Each subclass in Beyond Light will give players the ability to customize abilities like grenades, movement modes, class abilities, and so on. In addition, we've added new layers of customization with the addition of aspects and fragments. Aspects manifest as physical items in the world, such as a crystallized Vex Conflux or a robotic fallen arm. And when slotted in, aspects will offer players new abilities among other effects. These abilities can be mixed and matched freely by the player, no more of that set skill tree stuff. Many aspects will have space for fragments to be slotted in. Fragments are also physical items that you can discover in the world that, when applied to aspects, offer additional passive perks such as stat bonuses that may come with penalties. Aspect upgrades are unique to each stasis subclass, while fragment slots are class agnostic, meaning you can use the fragments basically on whatever class you want. How players combine these two different types of upgrades will lead to a range of customization options. And then we get an awesome look at how this screen is going to be when Beyond Light comes live, how exactly you'll be customizing your new stasis subclasses. And this is a really interesting system. It's very much like the artifact mod system we have right now, but rather than being mods for your armor, it's additional mods for abilities on your subclass. And indeed, this may be a system that's going to be replacing artifacts or being a supplement to artifacts as we move forward. But as you can see there, the example they give us shows us the stasis aspect known as Frost Pulse, where casting your rift generates a shockwave that freezes nearby combatants. After that, we see what the fragment that goes along with that is, Whisper of Bonds, which gives you a -10 to intellect and a -10 to discipline, but defeating frozen targets with weapons grants you super energy. So you're going to be using your class ability to freeze things, and then as you destroy those frozen enemies, you're going to be getting super energy back at the cost of some intellect and discipline. I love this. This is definitely Bungie moving more towards the RPG elements that we kind of lost track of after Destiny 1 with a lot of the set skill trees we have here in Destiny 2. Very happy to see that we're going to be able to customize our subclasses moving forward. But anyways, Bungie goes on to give us even more examples of how this is going to work. They say, for example, a Warlock finds a Frost Pulse aspect in the world and equips it. This aspect augments their Rift ability, which now freezes any enemies caught in the field. The Frost Pulse aspect also has a fragment slot available, allowing further customization. This Warlock decides to slot in the Whisper of Refraction fragment that replenishes some of their class ability energy upon shattering enemies. They now have set themselves up with a nice 1-2 punch, and if played skillfully, can use this combo frequently. So basically, with the Frost Pulse aspect enhanced with the Whisper of Refraction fragment, you're going to be able to freeze enemies by casting your Rift, and then destroying those frozen enemies gives you class energy back so you can go back to casting more Rifts. This is a cycle of gameplay that can be seen on stuff like Stormcaller, where using certain abilities gives you, melee and grenade energy, then you use your melees and grenades and it gives you your Rift energy and stuff like that, or stuff on Well of Radiance. That build has that very same sort of synergy there. Very happy to see that Bungie's going to be sticking with that trend moving forward and giving players, not just Warlocks this time, but also Hunters and Titans via these aspects and fragments, an opportunity to play into these abilities, giving themselves their own energy. It's a great system. It feels really good when you're playing on Chaos Rift builds or when you're playing on something like Well of Radiance, and I cannot wait to see how they're going to be expanding this sort of system with Stasis moving forward. Finally, they end things by saying, with its focus on freezing and shattering, the Shadebinder subclass promises to give Guardians yet another reason to love their floaty, book-loving Warlocks. But no matter what class you like, all players will be able to take advantage of aspects and fragments that unlock even more ways to make your Guardian yours. In our next article, coming this Thursday, we'll be pointing the Stasis spotlight at the class that loves to punch first and ask questions later, the Titan Behemoth. In the meantime, check out the Stasis Hub page to learn more about Stasis, and of course, I have links to all of this stuff down in the description box below. But there we go, Guardians. That is it for our Stasis spotlight for the Warlock Shadebinder. Really interesting stuff here. I think the biggest bit of news is obviously the addition of Stasis aspects and fragments, which you are going to use almost like a mod system to further customize your subclass when Beyond Light goes live. I keep bringing this back to the way subclasses were in Destiny 1, where you could pick and choose the perks that you wanted. I'm glad Bungie's moving back towards that type of system, but with even more customization options. And the fact that these things are going to be physical things out in the world that you'll be getting your hands on is even more interesting. Can't wait to learn more. But alright, Guardians, that's it for the news, and those are my thoughts. Be sure to leave me yours down in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Shadebinder subclass? You think it sounds pretty cool? How do you feel about being able to customize your subclasses? What would you like to see? Be sure to let me know. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest stuff we're putting out. But I'm out for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.